Hi, and welcome to Autism and ADHD from the Inside with Kim Lund Nielsen. And as you might have recognized, today's episode will be in English. And that's because today I have my first international guest with me, and that is Charlotte from Norway, also known as thespectrumgirl on Instagram. So, hi, Charlotte.
Hello, Kim. Thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah, thank you for joining me.
And yes, like you said, I'm also known as the Spectrum Girl on social media, primarily Instagram, where I have built my community of like-minded people after finding out that I was autistic in 2020 when I was 38. I just started talking about it on social media, and that's how I built my community that has grown to over 100,000, 130,000 on Instagram. And It's really nice to finally find my own tribe of people that I can speak to. And yes, I also have ADHD that I was diagnosed with later the same year.
Okay. I can see your Instagram is primarily about autism.
Yes.
Seems. Why is that? Or
I
know why that is, but can you tell the listeners why you chose?
Yes, I named myself the Spectrum Girl, by the way, because I'm autistic and on the spectrum. But I feel like the way I know myself is autism. My autistic side is much more clear. It's the side of me that is who I am. I recognize myself more in than ADHD, because ADHD is something that varies a lot whether or not I have help, support from people mechanically that can help me remember things, and like my executive dysfunction and all of that. So it can almost feel like it can disappear or not, depending on how my life situation is. But my autistic side just absolutely never disappears. It's absolutely just how my brain works constantly. And my ADHD is like a executive dysfunction problem that attention that my I need a clear frameworks around me, and I don't have that. So my ADHD is terrible too, but still I have felt from time to time how it can be managed. So therefore I am primarily autistic, I feel.
Well, I'm sure
it never changes. The autism, my mind, the way I think and perceive the world and think and everything is just very never changing, no matter how the framework around me is.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I've also talked with previous guests about what they feel presents itself more and how I feel. So it makes perfect sense, and I feel very much like you do.
Oh,
and
interesting.
I also use an alter ego, but I don't think that translates very well into English. Because let's not go into that. Any Danish listeners might know what I mean.
Okay.
But we talked about a topic to start out with, at least, and then we'll see where it goes. But I would like to bring a trigger warning before you listen to this episode, in this episode. We are talking about autistic people being less liked on average by non-autistic people and risk being ostracized. So if you know that might trigger some emotions in you, you might want to consider if or when you want to listen to this episode. But
now, sorry, I just can't get past the translation.
Oh, you need to know now. You need to know.
Yeah, because
okay.
I know what it is in Danish, and I don't. It would be really fun to hear it in English too.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll try then. It's because I call myself Spring ud autist.
Yeah.
So I also use a name with autistic in it because I feel that's.
And
that's
in English it
there.
means?
Yeah, in English it means jump out autistic.
Yeah, it's cool. It's pretty cool actually. Or run out.
Yeah, but
step out autist.
But the thing is, in Danish,
pop out autist.
Yeah, it can also refer to that I'm a skydiver and I jump in parachutes and in the spring when everything blossoms and everything, we also call it spring ud. And when I got my diagnosis, it was like a new beginning, sort of. So it's
nice.
Yeah.
That's actually so
nice. It sounds like I'm tooting my own horn here, but it's a multi-layered alter ego.
Yeah, it's the same with mine.
On the day, I actually forgot one of the layers, so now that we did dive into it, I just want to get that in there as well. In Danish, if you come out as a gay person or something, that's also called spring ud. So that's the last layer of my alter ego, spring ud autist. So that's what I mean, that it doesn't translate that well into English because
it
the layers.
Does.
Okay.
It's perfect in English. Spring. Everyone knows spring in English.
Yeah.
And ut is very similar to out.
Yeah.
And autist is universal. So spring out autist.
Yeah.
Spring ut autist in Danish is like, it makes all the sense in the world. All your explanations.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, you could just say that to everyone, like in English.
Yeah.
Bring out autist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but for
we
me,
were going to.
But for me, it's varied throughout my life. I feel like when I was younger, my ADHD presented itself a bit more. But after severe burnouts and things like that, I feel like the autism is presenting itself more and more.
I see.
But I also have a feeling that throughout my entire life, it's the autism has always been a part of me, like you described it.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I feel like it is different is the other way for me, that I'm getting more and more ADHD with age.
Okay. Yeah.
It is so annoying.
Yeah.
And because the more alone I find myself being, the older I get, I am more and more isolated. Like I'm when I was younger, I was in relationships, and I had I had a fiance, and I was living with for years, and everything that comes with that, the social life, the package that comes with, gave me much more routine and stuff. So I didn't really notice that ADHD part of me that much. So after I have been single, after I no longer, because my last relationship that ended when I was, I think, 36, which is a really long time ago now.
Yeah.
Because I'm 43 now. So it didn't. It was a short relationship for just a year and a half or too. That was a very abusive person who scared me so much that I never again ever have had a relationship, and ever since my ADHD has really became very present, because I'm just more and more and more isolated and alone and have absolutely no people around me, and that's when all routine just fails. I'm just like no sleeping pattern, no eating pattern, so executive dysfunction is running absolutely wild, and it is, oh gosh, it is so annoying. But my way of thinking is the same. It has always been the same, and has always been the same baffling thing.
Yeah.
So the ADHD is getting worse for me, and I'm working really hard to try to get some more structure in my life by getting to know people, and because I'm really scared about ending up in a relationship again, because it just scared me so much, the bad things that happened, that I don't think I ever will again. So I try to fix it by getting friends and stuff. And as an autistic person, it is extremely difficult to get to be social and have friends. So it's like I'm trapped no matter what I do. So I'm just ending up alone, and my ADHD is running wild, and my autistic mind is really, frustrated about this situation. So it's the other way around for me.
Yeah, that's interesting, but it makes perfect sense.
And that's also brings me to what we agreed to talk about, how autistic people are less liked on average by non-autistic people today, because when I just remembered that it was kind of what we wanted to talk about today, when I said that I'm trying to be social and finding friends and all of that, and it just turns out that it's just absolutely, almost, it feels impossible. People hate me. It just doesn't work. And well, not everyone hates me, but that is just me trying, making a dry joke, self-deprecating joke. But it's hard.
But you feel that's related to your autism?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Because
can you tell a little bit about why you feel that?
It's because I have a different way of engaging socially as an autistic person, and I think other people, they just they form less positive first impressions of me, because they just well, studies have seen it as well. There's been studies about it. So it's not something I'm imagining, because there's been, I don't know if you've heard about the study where they did research on showing some video clips to non-autistic observers of autistic people and non-autistic people, and these people who watched this clip, they rated autistic adults and children as less likable and more awkward and less approachable, only based on the brief video clips that they watched, and even without knowing the diagnosis, that they didn't even know that they were watching someone autistic. So it's just an awful reality. It's just true. People are just have reduced willingness to engage socially with autistic people if they have a choice. If they're presented with, like, hey, who do you think you would want to interact with more out of these people? People always choose the non-autistic person first, and it's a terrible reality. And that's also why it's so important to spread awareness about autism and why autism is presents a bit socially different, and that it is just misunderstood, and so people stop having these wrong first impressions when they meet autistic people, because the impressions that they have, the negative impressions, they are just from what we have been taught to think about someone when we see someone. So it means that we don't have to think negatively about seeing what we see. It's just what people have been conditioned to think. So it's unfair. It's just unfair that some of us are just seen as less cool. So, like, I don't want to hang with that person. They seem weird. Like, so.
Yeah. And what kind of autistic behavior could that be?
Yes. Yeah, you asked that, and I just gave a huge, long, different answer. And
no, it was a great answer.
Well, it's just that, for example, I have something called bottom-up thinking.
Yeah.
And non-autistic people usually think from the top and down, and that when you try to meet someone and you're social, it starts from the very beginning, like small talk. Even we don't. Well, I can't talk for everyone else who's autistic, but myself, I'm like terrible at talking about meaningless things.
Yeah.
So when it comes to bottom-up thinking, it means that I need to build a structure first about any topic, even when I meet someone and try to get to know someone. So that as a first impression, when other people start from the top, they just, it means that they don't build a foundation first. They just start with fragments, and then they don't even need to make a ground foundation. They just take a little piece here and there as they go towards the bottom and to the full truth, and usually they never even reach the full truth. They never even reach the middle of all the information they need. So they just walk around having these biased impressions. That means that they're almost always wrong in their head about what they're thinking, which to me as an autistic person is mind-boggling. I can't live like that. I need to I need to start at the very bottom when I meet a person, when I socialize, and so I freak people out and I scare them away at first at my first try. So by talking in too much detail from the very beginning, for example, that's one social issue, and or I can so it's too direct, too blunt for them to when I start building that framework. Or I have like sensory issues, like I lose attention or seem off in my facial expression. For example, if there's loud noises or some bright light or something, and I may have bodily expressions like tics or something like that shows the stress, and that to other people, they notice. Maybe I flicker my eyes, maybe I blink a lot, or twitch my head or something. They notice maybe, and they think I'm crazy. And like things like that.
Or sometimes they might interpret it as lack of interest from us, or
just to see it as something abnormal. Something you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to move like this, or unless you're sick. or something, or on drugs, or like I must be a tweaker, or maybe I'm about to have some sort of attack. I'm going to kill them at any moment, or I don't know. It's just like I just see people's eyes very quickly that they just don't trust me, that I'm not, there's something wrong with me. I can see it in their eyes, and it's so painful. and I'm not imagining it, because science has proved it. The people, they are very judgmental. They are looking for these likability things that we are supposed to be when we meet each other. For example, very short, brief introductions like, hello, I am, and this is, what do you do for work? Oh, this is what I do for work. And yeah, so the weather is nice today. And oh, are you married? No. Yes. And do you have a dog? Yes. So it's the same thing every time, and it feels like slow death inside my mind, because it just doesn't tell anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not how you get to know a person, right?
No.
It's
I
awful.
feel, even though you have the approval from science, and you probably don't need my approval, I will say I feel exactly the same. I also read other people as finding me weird, and I also think there's the layer I mentioned before, that there's also some misinterpretation. So alongside them finding me weird with my to them strange expressions or mannerisms or anything, I also think sometimes if I flinch or something because of a sound or have some irregular facial expression or something.
Maybe you don't look them in the eye.
Yeah, I think they sometimes interpret that as me not being interested in what they're saying, or me finding them weird, or things like that. So so there's a lot of misunderstandings also connected to it, and
they just make up very wrong. They come to completely false conclusions about who I am, and maybe who you are, who many of us are. They just come to a conclusion and make up their minds, and just they don't ask any questions. And the problem is that I ask questions. And that also is just seen as being rude or hostile or stubborn or being difficult. And especially if I'm in a group setting, I always, when I try to get to know people, I ask a lot of clarifying questions, and I try to create some sort of structure. So, but it's always, people are very, very inconsistent as well in building what I think friendships should look like. They're just very inconsistent. And to me, I mean, there's something called ethics, what is ethical and not. And I feel like people are just very unethical, and we have very strong personal morals, and feel like people need to, we owe to each other to treat each other with respect and kindness. And when I see that this is not the social norm, it's killing me, like literally killing me. Like, people get away with treating each other horribly, and then I call it out. I name it. I name problems, and then people really, really cannot take it when I call it out, and I explain problematic behavior, like people who have, for example, been very selfish or something, and now that I am very tired about it, they get so upset and angry. So to me, that is also a social problem for me, that I cannot, people do not like me because I say what I observe. And to me, it's also very illogical to me that we're out there in the non-autistic society, it's not supposed to be mentioned. It's very, very impractical and not a very good idea to never say anything, because then how can we be efficient about friendships or work or anything? We can never be efficient about anything if we never talk about things, right? And talking about things doesn't mean that we need to be mean about it, because that's not what I mean when I say that I call out things or point out problems or something. I try to be mild about it sometimes. But obviously sometimes things stretch very far and I stretch myself thin, and then I have some close to verbal meltdowns, and then obviously I turn out to and I look like, and I've been called so many times crazy or psycho and stuff like that, and that also is a problem. Like, I just always end up being that intense psycho woman. But if you look at it like really closely, all the things that and how it led up to it, I was just trying to do the right thing, and nobody else seemed to be interested in doing anything slightly okay. And then I get blamed for having a reaction to a bad thing other people do. And then, yeah, I just always end up alone.
Yeah. For speaking the truth.
Yes, for speaking the truth.
In your opinion, yeah.
Yeah. And also, I try not to make it in my opinion. I try also always first to make sure that I'm not just coming from a place of my own opinion.
Yeah.
That is also, I don't want to be led by personal bias. Like, for example, I try to explore from so many angles too, because I am a bottom-up thinker.
Yeah.
So that is, I just put a lot of time, energy, and effort into socializing, being friends, and I give a lot of attention of myself to people. And then when I realize that they don't do the same thing back, it's really difficult. Not everyone is like that, and I have met people who are really lovely, who do give back. They do exist, but it's very, very rare.
Yeah.
And most of them are also autistic. That's why I am in I have tried to just now go to focus on only the autism, ADHD community, mostly autistic people. Who all they can have ADHD as well, but not for me. They need to have at least autism too in order to understand my thinking, I think, because it's just too bottom up thinking.
Yeah.
So they need to understand it from the inside, otherwise they're going to hate me. If they some ADHD people might also be top-down thinkers. I'm not sure, but they need to have the bottom-up thinking to understand me.
Yeah.
And all the detailed.
Yeah, I totally recognize that. I feel exactly the same.
Feel validated.
Yeah. And
what is it with people who always get so defensive, by the way? Have you noticed when you ask questions that you mean absolutely nothing offensive about, people take it as an offense immediately? Yeah. That is just really, really, really stressful. And also really makes it impossible to make friendships when whatever I say, people take it as an offensive thing. It's like very strange. I can say the smallest little thing and they take offense.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like something about my face, or I don't know, what is it? How do they get offended?
Well, I think a lot of times it's because they read things into it.
Yeah.
That was never even said. They read between the lines that, when he says that, it's just a polite way to say that he dislikes this or that. Or no, I just meant the words that came out of my mouth, nothing more.
Yeah, and when you say they read between the lines, do you mean like they're projecting their own values and thoughts? They're like putting what they think already onto you, like that's what they're doing basically.
Yeah.
Why they are taking offense?
Yeah, maybe because a fear in them of failing or something like that. Then they hear what I say as an accusation of them failing or things like that.
Like, yeah, people's pride, that's why they take offense. I think like they feel insecure. People get offensive very easily. Get offended very easily, I mean.
Yeah, and a lot of times I wish people would appreciate my honesty more.
Yeah.
It's like they appreciate my honesty when it's something they would like to hear.
Yes.
But
always.
But I appreciate all kinds of honesty. I would love if someone told me, I think your podcast sucks. Even though that might be a bit too direct, I would appreciate their opinion.
You know
but
what
I mean?
Would want to know why, though.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Just that they think it sucks.
Yeah.
Because if
just
they
one
just
example,
say it sucks,
or
then it's rude.
Yeah. But I don't think that's what autistic people do.
No.
But I think that's how non-autistic people view us a lot of the time. Because we're direct and honest, they perceive us as rude. But like you described it, you always try to view it and to express it very objectively, and that's my experience with all my autistic friends. When they are direct and honest, I always think they do it in a polite way.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah. And they mistake it for being just blunt without any feelings or thoughts or anything. When it's actually just about being reasonable and correct errors and be precise. So actually we can avoid big mistakes and misunderstandings.
Yeah. I was also curious, when you say things to to friends or things like that. Is that also sometimes your sense of justice kicking in? That makes you have to tell them if they're... You said something about if people don't treat other nicely or things like that. You said it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yes.
Is that your sense of justice kicking in some of those situations? Because that's a challenge for me sometimes. Sometimes my sense of justice makes me have to say things to people, even though my mind is telling me they might take offense of this because that's what that's what previous experiences tell me. Then my sense of justice makes me say it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. There's one thing that is interesting when you say sense of justice, because it's so different for everyone what they think justice is.
Yeah.
You know, so some people, I've seen a lot of reels in social media that says like autistic or ADHD people have a strong sense of justice, but it depends very much on what they think justice is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that is a small digression, because I've experienced that. I find some of people in the autism community to be very unfair, even though they are speaking as if they are like the queen of just or something. It's like very strange. So it just feels like it depends on how you grew up, your background, and how your values were created, and how you see justice. But anyway, your question was like, when people do something, I think as or experience perceive as not very fair, that my sense of justice kicks in, so I need to tell them. Yes. Well, also it's about logic for me, and logic kind of wraps into what is fair or not fair.
Yeah.
What is so justice, I feel like is maybe something of a result. When I come to a result, if people agree, then justice has happened. But it's like more like I have a sense of fairness.
Yeah.
What like something, my feelings of something that is right or wrong, it kicks in.
Yeah.
And that is comes down to personal values and where I come from in life. So my background is very I come from a very low social economic status family, and low income, low education, and so many people, they do look at me and think I am a rich person, also because I'm white and I'm blonde, but I come from the northern Arctic, and I was in the peripheral, smaller space, and back in the 80s, things was very much different, and so it's not, it's complex, but based on where I come from, my upbringing, my life, and my background, I have built a sense of what's right and wrong, and that very much drives me a lot, and I really absolutely can't stand it when if I witness something that is blatantly unfair. for example, someone takes the whole cake and doesn't share anything with the rest, and then I will say, hey, that to me, like, just an example of right and wrong, like that makes no sense. You can't just take everything. There's other people here as well. And then I end up in arguments, for example, with people for small things like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's what I meant as well. It's when people do something that I don't find fair, then I can't keep it to myself, because a lot of people just wouldn't mention anything to avoid the conflict.
Yes, that's true. And then they start talking behind each other's backs instead. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's messed up. That is messed up. And that happens a lot with non-autistic people, I have noticed. They just talk behind my back all the time.
Yeah, and behind each other's backs. And and that makes no sense to me.
No sense at all.
And then we get ostracized for saying it to their face. And I'm never going to make sense of that. We have the guts to say it to your face, but you prefer people talking behind your back. And I just don't get it.
Well, me neither. I have tried to do a lot of research about this socially wise, like sociological studies wise. I have really, really gone into it. Why is it like this, that they would do it? And my findings has come to this, that people usually who do this are usually from more privileged backgrounds, and are used to already having things. And if they don't, for anything reason, not get their way in any tiny little way, they will try to get back, or because they get in petty ways, they try to get back at someone by tarnishing their reputation or triangulating. It's like split and conquering, and you have people with narcissistic tendencies in those circles, people who talk behind other people's backs. They do it for certain reasons, and people who have known real adversity, they wouldn't do that, because they know just how much pain comes with pain, so they wouldn't cause other people pain. The most mean people and most greedy people I have met are people who are in some way have social or economical status or wealth in some way.
Yeah.
They may not even have money status, but they have huge networks. So they have wealth in that way, because it is wealth in networks, because it gives you access. It gives access, and it makes life easier.
Yeah.
And these types of people, they do it to maintain their power, position of power, and because they feel threatened when we speak the truth. And that's why they start talking behind. And instead of fixing the issue that we bring to light, to the surface, when we say whatever it is that we have spotted or mentioned that isn't correct, they see it as a threat, and they need to kick us down so they can keep their power.
Yeah.
So it's people who are already greedy and already have stuff. Those are the people who do this.
Yeah.
In very short terms, but it is very nuanced and complicated, obviously, because there are poor people who can talk behind people's backs too, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But there's always some sort of area in where they have some power, which has made them greedy in some way, which makes them somehow talk behind someone's back, no matter how their status is. there's always something about hierarchy, power, and need for more. That's where it comes from. That is my findings.
It makes a lot of sense.
It makes a scary sense.
If you would like to support this podcast, you can do so on buymeacoffee.com/KimLundNielsen. You'll find a link in the show notes. I do this in my spare time and I pay all expenses out of my own pocket, so any contribution would be highly appreciated. But you're also perfectly welcome to listen for free. I'm also doing this just for the fun of it. I don't know if you do this, but another thing that I sometimes connect to being disliked is this autistic trait, and I don't know if you do it, but when people tell you a story or something, then we sometimes say, "Oh yeah, I know that. I tried this and that." Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, when we get eager and want to connect through shared experiences, and it gets mistaken for interruption and being selfish.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are those who actually are selfish and only want all the attention for themselves. So yeah, it's terrible to be mistaken for that.
Yeah, but I agree. There are both autistics and non-autistics, but I think it's an autistic trait that a lot of non-autistics are unaware of, and I would say a lot of autistics do it. It's a thing I also only recently found out that my own girlfriend wasn't aware of totally. So recently I talked to my girlfriend about it, that we share these things to say, I hear you, I feel you. A lot of autistics do this to show, I feel you, I hear you, I know what you're talking about. But because some people just want all the attention, that's how they interpret it every time. And
they get jealous.
Yeah, and they dislike us because they think, they just want all the attention all the time. When
they get jealous for every second that is taken away from them from saying it. They want that.
Yeah, but not even necessarily. Not because they're egotistical and they want all the shine, but they just look at the autistic people as someone who wants all the attention, when actually a lot of the time it's not at all about that. It's just our way of empathy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Also, sometimes for me it is a very different reasons that happens when I do that. When if I get into a very clumsy interruption mode, it can be for various reasons.
Yeah.
I have learned so much about myself and that particular trait over the last few years, and I've learned that autistic people are capable of also being a bit selfish and interrupting, even though I know what you're talking about isn't that part.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that autistic people, just like non-autistic people, cannot also be those people who are interruptive for selfish reasons. because they can perfectly well be, and that is what is a little bit we need to be careful about, that we don't always mention it as if all autistic people are the exception, because we're not.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you probably do. So, because I have learned a lot about myself when it comes to that, I have at some points, not for selfish reasons, but of ignorant reasons, which is kind of selfish in a way.
Yeah.
Just kept interrupting a lot. And I have worked a lot on myself to try and pace myself at some times and not interrupt so damn much and let other people talk too. Because I just get very, very like interested in the topic and I cannot stop. And I need to talk and I need to shoot in with some stuff all the time because it's just so freaking interesting and I want them to hear it. And that can actually be a bit selfish, even though it comes from a place where I don't mean any harm. So I learned that. But sometimes when I interrupt, it is clumsiness and nervousness. Me feeling it's kind of comes from a place of like defense mechanism. Like if I can see someone is being hostile, for example, I get really nervous and I speak too much.
Yeah.
And then they just see me as this rude, interrupting person. But it's just basically coming from fear, like real nervousness.
Yeah.
And then we have that thing you talk about that is most important and most misunderstood part, which people need to understand, which is about trying to connect and show empathy and then it just
and it's not to say that autistics are always like that, because I also know autistics who are big attention hawks. But it's just the presumption that it's always negative that I wish to bring some focus, some attention to.
Me too.
And again, if we combine that with a little bit more autistic communication, then people would dare to say, I feel like you're hogging the conversation right now. But that's not been my experience trying to create relationships and things like that. When people when people do that, they just I lost the words.
They just
withdraw themselves from me without even saying what I did wrong, if you know what I mean. And my guess is, maybe it's because I talked about myself, or things like that. Because I also want to say, I also recognize in myself the times where I try to show empathy in that way, and other times where I'm just hogging the attention, like you described. I also do both, or in various degrees. Am egotistical. So it's not to say that autistics can't be rude and attention seeking in situations, but just don't presume that that's the thing every time.
Yeah, totally agree with you. That's exactly what I meant.
Yeah,
you put words to it much better and quicker than I did. I explained it were very long and too complicated.
Yeah,
You said it better.
That's where we differ. I think you explained it much more clearly than I did. So maybe we hit all the listeners by trying to explain it, both of us.
Good. I just recently experienced something that was quite interesting, put things even more perspective for me when I was part of this multiply disabled comedy group on Instagram, and we made some comedy videos together. They invited me in there to do some sketches with them, and they were all wheelchair users, except for one who was blind. And anyway, they were all guys, and they all had very visible disabilities.
Yeah.
And so I thought maybe we could find some common understanding, at least that they would understand me being weird and all that, and give me some grace. So I was wrong. It is possible that the people who are non-autistic and also but disabled are just as likely to dislike autistic people, which is also very important to understand for autistic people, is that this research actually includes everyone who is not autistic, and that some people may have bias when they look at someone who has a physical disability and think, oh, they will understand because we're both disabled.
Yeah.
We're both marginalized people in society and get misunderstood all the time. But because autistic people have an so-called hidden or invisible disability that isn't immediately visible to the eye to see, then even people who are physically disabled themselves will see autistic people as less likable, or having less credible disabilities, actually. And that's something I experienced being with a group of other visibly disabled people who ostracized me from their group and got upset with me. And when I asked questions, and they refused to speak to me at all. And completely, they treated me like as if we were in high school.
Okay.
And this is like, it's a very, very strange experience, and very painful and traumatic, actually, because it feels like kind of a double hurt when we're supposed to be at least think people who are also marginalized by society, and they should understand me a little bit more, but they don't. And I wondered why, and I started doing research about that too. And it's actually like a hugely covered sociological issue that is interesting to dive into, that autistic people are faced with oppression from that part as well. So it's we are really like we have pulled the short straw when it comes to society, and that's why we need to support each other more now than ever. We have to have each other's backs. We need to speak up when we feel something is not right. We have to not be afraid to mention these things and how we're treated differently just for asking questions. We're not difficult or rude if we ask questions, or if we have sensory sensitivities. We're not more difficult. It's strange because some of those people in that disabled group thought that I took too much time with all my question asking. Isn't that just odd?
Yeah.
Just like, it's so ironic, isn't it? Because we all have to wait a lot for them wheeling in and out of rooms with huge electric wheelchairs and non-electric wheelchairs to get in position and whatever medical needs they have. And there's a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
And a lot of waiting for people who need to have translators because of cerebral palsy, for example, cannot speak themselves. So they need to have translation through a pad or something. And there's a lot of waiting. But when it came to my waiting, it was all seen as being difficult every time. And in the end, I was just excluded, and the group went quiet. And the group chat I was in, suddenly no messages came in it. I heard nothing from no one of them. And then they all went on and received an award for being good role models.
Oh.
I was supposed to be with them, but they didn't give me my ticket to the award. They just froze me out completely. Yes. It's like, so it's kind of even more harsh and more terrible to experience it because they are disabled. And I feel even more betrayed. And it set me back and almost like ruined me psychologically. After 10 years of being able to be on a good track, I had my biggest mental breakdown since. And I had to have emergency mental help and all of that because of the way they treated me.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's that sounds just cruel.
Yeah, it's one of the most cruelest experiences I've ever experienced. And I worked for free with them and helped them and did so much, and I took too much time and I asked too many questions, and I was told that I was yelling at them, and I was like, huh? I have not yelled. No, but they had made up their minds.
Yeah.
I was so yelling.
Yeah.
But I not once. I even have everything on record, like every single conversation, and can prove it. I don't even know where to go or what to start, how to start. It's just so dangerous to think that it is only people who are like the non-disabled. We need to just be aware that it can come from absolutely everyone, this kind of discrimination against autistic people. And that we need to protect each other and stand up for each other. And people who are in the disabled community who see it, if it happens, they need to not just stand by and watch it. They need to speak up about it too. Not just be bystanders. The bystander effect is real.
Yeah. It sure is. Yeah.
It is a taboo subject as well to speak about.
Yeah.
Because you just never say that about the people who are handicapped. You can't say stuff like that about handicapped people. But to me, that makes absolutely no sense in my logical mind either, because it absolutely can happen and happens. They are 100% capable of everything like everyone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I bet you never thought of that either before I said it just now.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
You have thought of it?
Yeah. I've also some experiences with with people I expected to have a little bit better understanding of being stigmatized or ostracized, where I didn't exactly find it. So it's not it's not total news to me as well.
I'm sorry. And they were also handicapped physically?
Yeah, it could be that, or otherwise marginalized or things like that. I don't want to get too specific to not make it too obvious what I'm speaking of, but I have I would also say I've just joined something called the Human Library, where people can read a human book by having a conversation, and that's about ostracized people and with various things. And it's very recently, but I've met some people through that, and there I've met some up until now. I feel that like a community where I feel understood a bit more than in a lot of other situations. But I've also tried it the other way around, like you, or not even close to like you, but I have experienced people I expected to appreciate my differences and things like that a bit more, not doing it. So
it feels like such a betrayal, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
double hurt.
So I understand the feeling of the double betrayal, just not in the magnitude that you have experienced. I just I'm shocked and appalled by that.
Yeah, and then these people go on to roll down red carpets and dare to accept awards for being great at inclusion.
Yeah,
when they just kick to the curb someone who needed support. Yeah, the ironic thing is all of them had assistants and support, and I was the only one who did not have any assistance or support and had to work triply as hard to do everything and had no one to help me with communication or anything. And yet they would ostracize me for my communication style.
Yeah.
It's just so ironic and like mind-blowingly unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times I feel like it being a hidden disability means that that people don't really believe that we're troubled. So
yeah, definitely. And also it's like autistic people, we are disproportionately disbelieved in conflicts as well, because people just don't like us, because research shows autistic people are less likely to also be received as perceived. I mean, people don't perceive us as reliable in what we are explaining or and the truth that we're telling, especially if my brain went, especially if it's about something emotional or personal wrongdoing that has happened, and people will not believe it with the autistic people. It's very unfair.
Yeah. because that's not what they can see with their eyes.
Yeah.
It feels like I see one thing, you're saying another thing, but it must be what I see that's correct.
Yeah. It's like disability credibility hierarchy. Like there's hierarchies within the disability community. So where people who have the disabilities you can see with your eye, they are at the top of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Because it's more like you don't have to show a physical document that says that you're autistic. You can just see it with your eyes. And so these people are much quicker to be culturally also recognized as struggling much more than autistic people. And they get applications to support granted and approved without doubt. They're given the benefit of the doubt, and they don't have to face the systemic oppression that people with hidden disabilities do. So, and they don't really understand it themselves, because that's how their life has been always, that they don't really realize how easy access they have, even though not all physical space is wheelchair access, for example. And that is, but I'm talking about on a psychological level and how deeply that impacts human beings. And those barriers, they do not in the same degree have to experience when we just always get discredited and disbelieved and always have to fight for being believed in absolutely anything. And that's kind of a moral shielding that they get automatically that we do not have. Autistic people do not get that shield. And it's like a kind of a social psychological thing. That is kind of like they have more of a protected role that they are in. Like they're sympathetic, they automatically gain sympathy. But looking at you or me, there is no sympathy automatically or protection automatically. Even if hell is breaking loose inside our minds, and a person with a visible disability in a wheelchair who also has assistance or anything has absolute peace in their mind. When people enters a room and sees both of us, they will not approach you or me and ask if there's anything they can do for us to help us, even though we are the ones that has hell broken loose inside our heads and we're in desperate need for help in the moment. The other person in the wheelchair is the one they are going to go to immediately and say, what can I do for you? And that makes life so much easier on a level that is hard to describe. So it is a responsibility for those to just realize it and have self-awareness enough and not be proud about it and not feel defensive about it, because it is a fact. So some people have felt defensive about when I have brought it up earlier and mistake this factual fact, because it is a factual fact of society and roles we are given and how we are perceived. But some people, wheelchair users, have criticized me when I have written an essay about this experience I had earlier, and have taken things out of context and tried to make me sound like as if I'm an enemy of people who have visible disabilities, which is absolutely not at all the case. I'm only trying to describe a reality of disproportionate realities. Like it's
that's also been my experience, and I was thinking just now how I might need to explain and things like that, because I could just hear people saying, "Oh, now they're saying that wheelchair users are privileged. Now they're saying that people with physical handicaps are all egotistical and mean, and all things like that." And as we spoke of earlier, no, that never came out of any of our mouths.
No.
So it's
not what it's about.
It's actually a quite fine example of autistic communication. You are being direct about an experience with some people with physical handicaps.
And it's being, a taboo thing as well.
Exactly.
And I'm saying it right out. People are getting shocked, like, what?
Yeah, and you're being direct about some factual things that you've seen in studies. But I'm sure a lot of people will feel that that we're saying this and that.
Yeah, just to make sure to the listeners, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying all people who have physical disabilities are egotistical and spoiled or whatever. No, I'm talking about how society perceives disabilities and how it affects human beings with disabilities disproportionately. So autistic people who you cannot see it on have a different psychological pressure and impact that we suffer under. It is different. I'm not saying it is worse, but in some areas, yes, it is worse because of the suicide rate proves it. Unfortunately, the thing about that you just feel like everyone hates you so much that in the end, a lot of autistic people are so lonely and desperate, and they don't even get a diagnosis, and they just think there's something wrong with them. Everyone hates them, and they can't for the life of them understand why they can't get themselves to be understood the way they are thinking in their head. When the words come out, people take it the wrong way all the time. And so they end lives instead. They end their lives. And I don't want it to be like that. We need to, instead of judging and thinking the worst, people need to ask questions. So what did you mean? I just want to make sure, Charlotte, am I wrong if I think that you mean this or that?
Yeah.
That's what people need to do instead of making up false narratives, false stories. They need to take contact, to get in touch with, because it's not hard to get in touch with people these days in the digital era. It's so easy. If they have something they are wondering, if media or a personal, private person wonders about someone's intention, instead of starting a rumor, spreading something, or in a media or article, contact the person, for Christ's sake. Contact them and just ask them, did you mean that you are like this or that, or that you think this or that? And give a person a chance. But people don't do that, and that's what we need to change. Stop the misunderstandings. Ask questions. People need to become more autistic thinking. Ask clarifying questions.
Exactly. Well, I think we'll end on that, Charlotte. That's a nice ending, I think, and we've spoken a long time now.
All right.
And
We've spoken a long time. I'm tired. Bye. No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
it is.
I think probably a heavy subject,
Yes.
and I might have to put in a trigger warning at the beginning. But I just want to say, for me, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you about this, and to hear that you have experienced and feel some of the same things as I do, and have the guts to speak up about it. So it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim. Likewise. And thank you for being so patient with my technical difficulties in the beginning.
And no problem. I think you bash yourself a bit too much.
That's what we do, autistic people. Yeah.
But it's been really nice talking to you.
Thank you. Same.
Thanks. In the show notes, you'll find a link to Spectrum Girl's Instagram account, and you'll also find links to my social media and my email address if you have any comments or questions or anything. Thank you very much for listening to this first episode in English. I hope that you'll return for more later. Bye!